Love is complicated. It's hard for any of us to grasp. Yet it sustains our interest and our art like few other subjects can. I can think of many examples in reality and fiction of love stories in which love arrived with great passion only to devolve into conflict, contempt, and eventually abandonment, as though nothing had ever existed between the lovers. I started to examine the startling contrast between the romanticized love as marketed on TV, novels, and other media, and the actual practices of love by people in everyday society. I decided to study the phenomenon of love. So I read around, and I came across The Art of Loving by philosopher and psychoanalyst Erich Fromm. Though published in 1956, it remains an influential study on the nature and dimensions of love. One of the most misleading beliefs about love is the notion that love depends on finding the so-called right person. Many people believe that love itself is easy. But the difficulty lies in finding someone suitable to exchange our love with. But love is not about finding the right person or the right set of circumstances. Love is a conscious decision, an act of will. They say someone falls in love. Fall? Is love a hole or a trap for someone to fall in? I am certain that this kind of love which people fall into is not genuine love at all. People do not fall into true love, but rather stand in it. We either live by love or we don't. Love is a way of life. This misunderstanding of love is one of the main reasons for the prevalence of divorce around the world. Physiological studies show that there are 3 levels of the phenomenon we call love: attraction, desire, and commitment. These are accompanied by spikes in hormones such as estrogen, testosterone, dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, which all heighten the feeling of intoxication when we fall in love. However, the release of these hormones subside over time, and the desire for intimacy fades. This is why some people fall out of love as easily as they fell into it, because they never knew or practiced genuine love in the first place. Love lies in giving without expecting anything in return. In our materialistic world, giving without getting something back is considered a sacrifice, a deception, or even an injustice. However, if we are free of the drives of the ego, then we will consider giving as the most profound means of expressing our inner strength and wealth. The greatest form of giving is to give from what we treasure the most, from ourselves, our joy, our passion, our knowledge, and our time. To give from the life inside us, to revive and enrich others. One of the reasons that so many people fail at love is because they were never taught that love is an art. We spent decades learning and mastering many art forms, but never the art of love. Love is care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. Care manifests when we are actively interested in the life and growth of the one we love. Responsibility is not an outside obligation, but a willful act stemming from inside. More than that, it is a willingness to respond to other people's needs, whether they express them or not. As for respect, this is about seeing people for who they are, helping them to grow in their own way. Respect does not occur without deep knowledge of the other person. Knowledge that reaches to the core and allows us to see them in their true form. Our instinctive need to love is born of a desire to escape the prison of isolation. Many people try to cope with isolation through alcohol, drugs, sex, or other physical pleasures. Others try to bury themselves in work or other distractions. All of these are at best partial solutions, and at worst, they are harmful and illusory. The only way to escape isolation and achieve harmony is through a genuine love for others, inspired by their humanity. The best models of love are the prophets. From them we learn true love. Love for the poor and those in need, for orphans, for the weak, and for strangers. A love that stems from our sense of responsibility towards them. In loving those who do not offer us any materialistic rewards, true love begins. If we record the Prophet's saying, where he related faith to love, no one of you becomes a true believer until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. Our path to faith begins by loving our fellow man. As told by the Prophet of Islam, a simple act of love put a man in heaven. The act of giving a dog a drink of water. A simple act in the eyes of many. What then might be the reward of showing compassion to our fellow humans? Love of our true self is the polar opposite of selfishness. The selfish person does not in fact truly love himself. If you truly love yourself, you have no choice but to love everyone on earth. This love for the soul is the divine love inside us, by which we love ourselves and others in humanity. But when does a person truly begin to love? When we are born, the first love we experience is our mother's unconditional love. It surrounds us with protection and care. Then comes the love of our father, conditional and earned through effort. This allows us to reach balance and maturity. We are then prepared to walk a path toward a higher level of love. Love for God. There is deep wisdom in God's tying the command to worship Him and the command to be good to one's parents. The Quran says, "Your Lord has decreed that you not worship other than Him and be good to your parents." The Quran also united the love of ourselves with the love of our parents in a prayer for forgiveness. My Lord, forgive me and my parents. This brought me to the conclusion of my journey with the ego and love. Indeed, one who truly knows his Lord cannot but love Him and draw ever closer to Him, abiding by His commands, willingly and lovingly. In a divine narration, God says, "My servant keeps coming closer to me through voluntary worship till I love him. And so I become the hearing by which he hears, the sight by which he sees, the hand by which he strikes, and the leg by which he walks. If he asks me, I will give him. And if he seeks my protection, I will protect him." Love is one of the greatest treasures in life. We came from love, and through love we believe, and by love we live.